Welcome back to the shittiest camera on earth. So, the mind, your mind constructs stories, right? The mind makes stories and believes in it. But none of it is true or real. The mind constructs this character and identifies with this character. There is attention within experience, and attention, it seems to always contract around thoughts and perceptions. It contracts around like ways of perceiving. It contracts around these stories of the mind. And they're very subtle, like you may have like these thoughts that happen on the surface that are like really easy to be aware of. Like you may have a thought like you may be in meditation and like you're having all these thoughts and you can be aware of all these thoughts, but there's something deeper than the thoughts, it seems, and that's it seems to be that there's this underlying, very background this kind of background subtle noise that is just suffering, that's just numbing, that's just unsatisfied, that's just not here, always looking for something else and not being here. This background noise that's very subtle. It's like goes beneath attention. It's very hard to put your attention on it. And it seems to be that it's like this background noise is like the accumulation of this constant repetition of the mind telling this story about what you are and what reality is, and it's all bullshit, but it's just like a repetition that you've just like come to accept it, because it's like constant. Like there's this constant background noise that's going on. It's like there's this like constant fucking narrative that's just that you think is real, and it just goes unnoticed. And we're just living in our minds, like most of the time our attention is just surrounded by this constant storytelling of what we are and what the world is, and our relationship with the world, our relationship with people, and are we good, have we done good, are we bad, have we done bad, what is the world, all this shit. We think we know it all. We think we fucking know it all. We think we know what is going on. We think we know what the world is. We think we know who we are, and We never take a step back to question any of that. And even when you like, if you try and take a step back and question it, all you're doing is taking a step back still in that paradigm. You see, you're not actually taking a step outside of that paradigm. You're not, you see, like there's this like the bubble of a story, and you'll say like in the center, you're like, oh, I'm going to take a step back and like see if any of this is true, and you step back, but you're just stepping back in the same bubble. You're not actually stepping outside of the bubble and seeing like, holy shit, my whole life has been a fucking lie. Like everything I've ever thought in my whole life has been a lie, has been false. And no one really wants this, but at the same time, it's really everything that you're looking for. Like this is freedom, being able to see that who you think you are is not who you are, and what you think a reality is not what reality is. To be able to see that this whole fucking story that you've been believing in, to be able to see that that's not true, that's liberating, and that will end like a fucking fuck ton of your suffering. You know, even if you're constructing this positive story, like you may have a story going on in your mind that's like, oh, I'm shit, I'm not good enough, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's kind of shit to have that. But at the same time, if your mind is constructing this story like, yeah, I'm good, I'm confident, I'm healthy, you know, I'm doing the best I can, yeah, I'm kind and compassionate and whatever, like it's still a fucking story, and it's still a bullshit story. It's any story that the mind's telling you, if you're believing it to be the truth, it's going to cause suffering, and you're just going to be dissatisfied, and you're not going to be here, and you're going to be living in delusion. And this is what most people spend their lives doing, is just shuffling up the storyline, just changing the storyline, changing the narrative, going from a bad story, I'm a bad person, the world is a scary place, going from I'm a good person and I am going to help be kind in the world, and whatever the fuck it is, like so most people spend their lives doing that, and most people like never glimpse what it's like to live outside of that storyline. And you see, there's no actual problem with living in your mind and having attention surrounded by your mind and all the stories it constructs, if and only if you don't believe any of it to be true. You see, there isn't really any difference in having your attention contracted around the thoughts and stories and having your attention contracted around like a beautiful sunset. You know, people think it's like, oh, we got to live in the moment. You know, we've got to get out of our heads and live in reality. But like, no, the inside and the outside, there is no distinction there. Like, the inside is still reality. You know, like people say like, oh, I've got to be present. It's like you already are present. You're just present in your thoughts. And there's nothing wrong with being present in your thoughts and all the stories it makes, but it's gonna fucking cause a problem if you believe that the stories that your mind's telling you, if you believe that that is reality and that's how things are. And you know, that's most people, and it's me all the time. It's like I have these glimpses where I step outside of that and I'm like, holy fucking shit. And then I go back, revert back to thinking I'm this little individual person in this linear storyline and like, where am I in my life? This is my past. I want to get here in my future. Um, in this journey. Like, oh, where would I be from like 5 years onwards? Like, what is my journey gonna be like? And it's all bullshit. There is no fucking journey. I mean, yeah, that there is ultimately, but like every moment is now, and any sense of a journey is just a thought happening now. So yeah, in one sense there is a journey, from like birth to death and your mental progress and whatever else. Sure, you can see there's a journey on a relative sense, but like the truth is now, and it's always now, and there cannot be a journey in the now, can there? Because a journey presupposes time. There is no fucking time. You see, time is fucking made up. Time is a made up construction. Time is being constructed by the mind. It's just a story it's telling. We have been conditioned by our environment and society and all that. We've been conditioned to identify with a lot of shit, but this body in our experience, and our thoughts in our experience. It's fucking disheartening to see to see that you're deluding yourself, to see that you're deceiving yourself. If you fucking start this shit, you better finish it. And it's fucked up because, better to never do it at all. But if you fucking started, better to finish it. Like, if you've glimpsed the truth and now you've got this unshakable feeling that you are deceiving yourself, like, it's not a good feeling to have your whole life. It's depressing. But like, if you never glimpse the truth, if you never step outside this storyline that the mind's constructing and all these beliefs, right? If you never glimpse that, then it's like, you don't know what's possible, and so yeah, you can have a far better experience and end a lot of suffering if you did come out of that storyline and come out of those beliefs. But if you never actually glimpse that, then you don't actually know what's possible. You don't actually know what's fucking good. And like, so you can live your life and you could like start out having a not so good life and then like spend your whole life trying to be better and trying to make the world better and just trying to live a more healthy and kind and compassionate and loving life and all that. And and if you've never glimpsed anything like profound or liberating or truthful, like, you don't know what's possible. So, you'll probably just have a good life. But when you're deceiving yourself, even when you're living a good life, when you're like being kind and you're being healthy and when you're like morality's in check and you're just, you're doing the best that you can and you're kind to yourself and all this kind of shit, it's not enough, because you still see that it's just, you still see that the fucking mind is still telling this story, and there's this belief in a separate individual self and a belief in a world. But there are glimpses where you step outside of that and you see that it's all bullshit, and then you come back into the illusion, the delusion, and it's like, every time you glimpse something liberating and truthful, it's like, oh fuck yes, and then you come back into delusion and you start deceiving yourself. Each time, like, you just fucking get more and more depressed, because now you know that you're deceiving yourself. And you see that there's nothing that you can fucking do about it, because anything that you try and do about it is more fucking noise from the mind. Any belief that you can do something about it is just another belief in delusion, which is perpetuating delusion. You see? You see, because you may have a glimpse of something true. You may have a glimpse of your true nature. And then you come back into the mind's stories and you're like, oh fuck, I glimpsed something true. What can I do to get back there? And already, like, that phrase, what can I do to get back there? See, that, like, that presupposes, like a lot of beliefs in what you think about reality already, you see. Like, how do I get back there? And, like, all this kind of shit, like, oh, what am I going to do? Maybe I can, meditate hours a day so I can get back there, and take psychedelics and whatever. And you see, you're still like believing in a self that can get back there. But you see, this truth is an absence of a self, an absence of belief, an absence of belief in what the mind says is real and true. It's the absence of that. And you see, there's nothing you can do about it, because the truth, there is no you there. See, the you that wants to get back into that glimpse, back into that truth, back into your true nature, the you that wants that is not the you that gets that. You see, like, there is no you in that. And the you that you think of as you cannot want something that doesn't include the you. You see, like, if you wanted to have an ice cream, you also, you see, you want to be there for the ice cream, right? Like, if you want an ice cream, you want the ice cream and you want you to have the ice cream, right? It's not like I want an ice cream and then say you black out, and then you wake back up, and you're like, oh damn, I want ice cream, and your friend next to you is like, you just fucking had an ice cream. It's like, oh, did I? I blacked out. It's like, yeah, but you just had an ice cream. So, well, I wasn't fucking there for the ice cream, so it's like, I want a fucking another one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's whatever you want, you also want you to be there with whatever you want. But you cannot want your true nature. You cannot want this liberating glimpse that you have or whatever. You cannot want that, because there is no you there. The you that wants it isn't the you that gets it or is there when that true nature glimpse happens, you know? Because why do you want it in the first place, you see? You want it in the first place because you suffer, and you suffer in your mind. The mind stories and the belief in the stories. I am this person in this world in a linear fashion, moving through time and moving through space, with these ups and downs in life. Like, oh my god, I'm suffering all the time. I want to be free from that. And see, that's why you want it. But you see, your true nature, this enlightenment, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, like, it is the absence of the belief in the storylines, absence of any belief in a separate self in a world that's moving through this linear time and space, like, because that's all happening in the mind. And you see, like, that may still be happening, but it's the belief in that that gets demolished and seen to not exist. You see, like, you want enlightenment. You want enlightenment. But why do you want enlightenment? You want enlightenment because you think that you will be free of suffering. But there is no you in enlightenment that is free from suffering. Like, because the suffering is an illusion. It's a story. You go and see a theatrical play. Shit happens on stage. You don't really suffer. There's this detached. You may have a suspension of disbelief, but you can step outside of it whenever you want and see that you, like, there's this play going on. It's an illusion. There are actors portraying characters. It's not real. The mind is doing the exact same thing, creating this character and identifying with it, creating this storyline, thinking it's real. And that's why you suffer, because the mind creates a storyline. And, you know, the very like nature of the mind is that it has to be in duality for it to work. There has to be ups and downs, black and whites, goods and bads, better and worse, for any kind of story to move. Like any kind of dance, any kind of movement requires duality. And so if you have a bad day, you're going to have a good day. If you have a good day, you're going to have a bad day. You know, that's just what is going to happen. So I can't remember what I was saying there, but it's an illusion. The mind, the stories that it creates, it's just a story like you would see in a play. And of course, to have any kind of like any kind of story that's compelling, you know, it needs conflict. And so you suffer because you believe in something that's not real. You suffer because you believe in a storyline. And, you know, see, like most of what I'm saying here is, you know, it's not in my fucking direct experience. I've had glimpses of it, and it's like I come, you know, like, you may think that I'm talking about it from a place of like, I am enlightened, or I know this, you know, I've got more knowledge than you, or whatever. It's like, but that's not the case. It's like, I'm fucking stuck in this 99.9% of the fucking time, believing in this story, you know, because it's so hard to see that this is actually what's happening. And there's so many fucking sneaky ways, so many fucking sneakiness of the mind, so many ways that it can trick you. Anyway, that's all I got to say today. Catch you in the next one.